Hey candidates, we are going to start, and those listening on YouTube, we're going to start in 5 minutes actually to give people a chance to find the YouTube link correctly and tune in, so that whoever gives their opening statement first does not get an unfortunately small number of people.
Am I supposed to hear you? Because I can't hear you, Daniel.
No, Steffi, we have begun the stream and we're going to wait till 8:35 to start, just so that we give everyone a chance to get online.
Sounds good. Good to see everyone. I'm excited for all of you. I've been praying for all of you.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to the candidates for calling in here on Zoom for our wonderful freshman election speech night and Q&A session. I wanted to first introduce myself briefly and give a couple of people on student government who are part of the election committee a chance to introduce themselves. And any of us are people that, if any of you have any questions about elections, you can turn to us for anything. And yeah, we're super excited you're here. This is a weird year, a weird season. COVID has made our elections very strange and different from the usual very embodied community that Wheaton stands for. And so we're just thankful for all of you just being patient with us, being a part of this active community and bearing with all of this. We're really excited to figure out this year together and to just get to know all of you. So freshmen, welcome. Welcome to Wheaton. Welcome to an SG event, I guess. And Yeah, you're very loved here. I'm Daniel. I'm the election commissioner. I'm also the student body vice president. So I've been kind of overseeing the election and campaign proceedings thus far, along with the help of the election committee, who I'll ask to introduce themselves in a minute. And Estefi and I ran for our positions here really just above everything to advance kingdom diversity here at Wheaton. And we're really excited to get the freshman class in on that and in on serving the student body, making this COVID year a success, and just engaging with all of you, getting to know all of you. Estefi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you. Again, welcome. We are so excited for today and for the days to come. We've been praying for you. It's definitely not complete without the pair that God has already preordained to serve with us this year, but I just wanted to encourage you to continue to make the most of this and just say thank you for committing to serve your class, represent your class, because it's not an easy task. I know that, and we know that as a student government board, but it's such a blessing this year to serve as your student body president. It's definitely a calling from the Lord and something that is impossible to do by yourself. So I am so blessed this year to be part of such a strong team that is humble and willing to ask for help and knows how to engage with each other, even amidst so many just different ways of doing things now with all the regulations. But we're so excited to listen to you all today. Thank you for the ways that you have campaigned and engaged with the student body, with your peers, with each other. It's amazing that we get to do this and that there's even remote candidates. That's just awesome. Like, this is the year to do that. This is the year to get creative and innovative. So I'm so excited, even for those that may not join the board this year. I'm still excited to form those connections and see where the Lord leads you, because this is an experience that will shape you. Wherever you end up, it will shape you, and hopefully for the better. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Estefi. Estefi is our student body president, by the way, for those of you who don't know. And we are all incredibly blessed to have her as part of our campus community. Laurel, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Hi guys, my name is Laurel Cruz. I am one of the sophomore class co-presidents along with Drew McMillan. And I'm so excited for you guys. Being a freshman just last year, I know what you guys are up to and I understand what it looks like to be a freshman. So I'm so proud of you all. It's been so fun watching you all campaign and you guys are killing it. I can't wait to see who God has for us in store.
Thank you, Laurel. Brett?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brett Bowman. I'm the EVP of Technology and Campus Services on the Student Government Board this year. And I'm just so encouraged to see how much engagement we've had and interest in serving in this position. I think this will go down as a record year for the number of candidates, and that's a great thing to see. So yeah, just best of luck to you all after this speeches and Q&A tonight.
And Amelia?
Hi, everyone. I'm Amelia Miller, and I'm serving on student government this year as the EVP of Student Wellness. And I just want to say I'm proud of all of you. It takes a lot of confidence and strength and determination to get out there and interact with your peers and just like put yourself out there. But you all have done such a great job. And I know that whatever happens, God is going to do amazing things with your class this year.
Great. Thank you, Amelia. So to all of you who are tuning in, I'm going to take a minute or two to briefly explain the format of this evening's speech and Q&A session. And then we're going to dive right into our opening statements, the campaign speeches by each of our candidates. So let me share my screen briefly. And we're just going to leave this projected for a good minute or two, and I'll probably pop back in and remind everyone that this exists, but this is our Slido. So if you have any questions that you'd love to hear the candidates answer, go ahead and pop those into Slido using this code 74624. And then we will be adding them live to kind of a master questions list, which will be asked. We'll kind of cycle through the different questions for each candidate And so hopefully if your question's a really compelling one and a lot of your peers are voting up your question, then it'll get answered this evening. So just to run through the format while this is up briefly, each ticket is going to be given 3 minutes for an opening statement. That's kind of the equivalent of the typical campaign speech here. And so they're going to share with you their vision and why they're running, and just general things about themselves. After their opening statements, we're going to switch into Q&A. And each candidate will be given 30 seconds to answer any given question. The way this is going to work is we're going to have a massive list of questions which we haven't disclosed to anyone yet. But each question is going to be asked to 2 candidates, and we're just going to go ahead and basically cycle through the list of 7 tickets. So the first 2 tickets will be answering question 1. Tickets 3 and 4 will answer question 2. 5 and 6 will answer question 3. And then 7 and 1 will answer question 4. And we'll just keep cycling through there. Every candidate ticket is going to be given an equal number of chances to speak. So everyone will answer the same total number of questions. But obviously, not every candidate is going to answer every single question. And so for that reason, to the candidates, just your kind of general statements and things that are most pressing and passionate, the things you really want to communicate to your freshman class, put those in your opening statements, which I'm guessing you already have. Anyway, I will be popping back in a couple times here and there just to remind people to submit questions to Slido. And we're really looking forward to just hearing the voice of you, the class of 2024, and just listening to what each of these wonderful freshman class co-president candidates have to share. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and go into opening statements. So just for the format for this evening, we have kind of a designated list order of candidates who are gonna speak and then respond to questions. And I'll actually go ahead and read them out, but these were perfectly randomly generated. So the first ticket that's gonna speak is Peter and Katia. Then we're gonna have Amber and Jacob, Constance and Sam, Grace and Nicholas, Katie and Jasmine, Daniel and Grace, and then Liliana and Isabela. And then once we've gone through all 7, we're just gonna go ahead and keep cycling through the same order. So without further ado, Peter and Katia, would you like to give your opening statements?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Katia Quintanilla, and I'm a remote learner from Mexico City.
And I'm Peter Logan, an on-campus student from Sarasota, Florida.
Peter and I are excited to get to serve the freshman class in any way possible. This year, we seek to serve the freshman class as freshman class co-presidents. We believe that partnering a remote learner and an on-campus learner most fully represents the ideas and goals of freshman students of Wheaton College.
We desire to serve as a voice for inclusivity and to bring a spirit of unity through worship and trust in our Creator. We strive to serve the student body by maintaining an atmosphere at Wheaton that cultivates spiritual, emotional, physical, and academic growth.
Just as bridges connect people, similarly, we too can connect people by leading others and ourselves to new discoveries and truths about each other, whether we live on campus or abroad. Consequently, truthful discoveries lead to freedom from misconceptions and tensions. Such freedom opens the door for close relational connectivity, unimpeded by racial, ethnic, and geographical boundaries. Therefore, we are committed to make a difference in the lives of others and our college community by becoming a bridge between islands of homogeneity.
One of our biggest passions for this year is to bring remote and in-person learners together as a community and to be a voice for the freshman class, one of unity and inclusivity. We strive to advocate for the needs of the freshman class and build healthy personal relationships that cross ethnic divides and foster understanding, inclusion, and compassion.
So why pick us? How are we qualified to do the best job?
As a leader and founder of an online writing club for over 350 members, I had months of practice in leading an online team to encourage diversity, creativity, and community. I've confronted the many challenges of balancing a strong vision with the input and opinions of a team from all different backgrounds and beliefs to put the community first. I believe this experience will be immensely valuable this season as we learn to lead the diverse freshman class with both its in-person and remote students, primarily via online meetings.
As a homeschooled student, I have not been in an official school student government position. However, I have demonstrated my leadership experience in church, and I enjoyed serving as a service chairman for my church choir during my junior year. I helped organize and collect donations and cards for the Dallas Women's Shelter. This experience taught me how to organize my time and ideas in an efficient way, and more importantly, develop a servant's heart.
Therefore, consider a Quintanilla Logan ticket, because what we represent are all students, both around campus and around the world, serving one awesome God, serving one student body, and serving one Wheaton campus. We serve all for the one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter and Katia. We're going to now introduce our next candidate ticket, Amber and Jacob. Would you like to give your opening statements?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jacob Elson.
And I'm Amber Simic. And we would be honored to be your freshman class co-presidents. Jacob and I decided to run because we are inspired by the changes you want to make and want to take it upon ourselves to ensure your ideas become a reality. As your class co-presidents, we will make ourselves readily available and easily accessible to you. We will do this by setting aside time each week where you can join us virtually or in person to voice your ideas, concerns, and questions regarding our campus community. Jacob and I really want to make it clear that our position is one of transparency. Our sole purpose as co-class presidents is to be an extension of your voice and make sure it is heard by those who can aid in creating change.
Like Amber said, we are thrilled at this opportunity to represent you. Having been captains of sports teams and leaders of Christian fellowship groups, we love to organize events. We have many ideas to foster unity both on and off our campus, ranging from organizing pen pals during our time apart to a campus-wide snowball war when we return. Fingers crossed. But like Amber said, we want to follow your lead. You are our friends, classmates, floor mates, study partners, but most importantly, our brothers and sisters in Christ.
Vote on Wednesday. Vote for your voice. Vote Jacob and Amber.
Thank you, Jacob and Amber. Our next candidate ticket will be Constance and Sam.
Hey everyone, I'm Constance, this is Sam. Wait, I'm Sam, this is Constance. And right now, we're sort of excited to be running for freshman class co-presidents.
We're actually really excited to be running. And so we are so excited to represent all of you in the amazing class of 2024. And so let's get down to it.
So when we decided to run, a verse that we felt embodied our vision for the campaign was Acts 2:42. And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers.
This verse accurately depicts how the early church really loved and cared for each other. And that truly is the vision for our class of 2024, is to love and care for each other like the early church did. And so it's hard right now, but we really believe that we can do this by being rooted in the Lord.
So we decided that our central theme should be fellowship, and we created 3 branches based off of that. And the first branch is fellowship with our class of 2024. As freshman class presidents, our primary responsibility is to represent and shepherd our class. We'll be your voice in faculty and administrative meetings, as well as help plan events, including prayer and worship nights, regular dorm events for you and your friends, and potentially a Wheaton Spirit Week sometime down the road.
Our second facet of fellowship is fellowship with our school. And our goal is really to build school unity through inter-class relationships. We've talked to some upperclassmen about how we can connect and build Wheaton into a more unified school. On the other side of that comes our relationship with the faculty. We want to advocate for your needs and wants, but also show the faculty how much we appreciate them and their flexibility during this year of change.
Our final branch of fellowship includes reaching outside the Wheaton bubble and connecting with the community. While staying COVID safe, thunder strong, we'll be trying to come up with ways to serve the community and share the love of Christ with the people living around us.
Our main goal is to become connected by loving each other well, just like the early church in Acts.
So come Wednesday, when it's time to vote, if you see a blank space on the ballot,
you should write our names.
Thank you, Sam and Constance. Our next ticket will be Grace and Nicholas. Would you like to give your opening statements?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nicholas Chevelle, and I would first like to start out by thanking everyone for being here, as well as everyone that has supported Grace and I to this point. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to potentially represent all of you as the freshman class co-presidents. I believe in my heart that I would make a great president. I know we didn't anticipate starting college during a pandemic, but we can't do anything to change that. So let's make the most of our current situation. I want to make our college experience memorable, fun, and exciting. To touch base on who I am, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm a crazy sports fanatic. I'm a member of the basketball team here at Wheaton, and I love people, being around people, and entertaining people. I have a real passion for creating community, and this is one of the things that I want to be able to bring to you here at Wheaton College. When Grace asked me if I wanted to run for president with her, I jumped all over the idea. I can't think of a better way to get involved in the community than as president. My #1 goal is to bring everyone together into one big family. Family. At Wheaton, we are all in this together, and we need to learn from one another now more than ever. We are the Wheaton family. I want to create events to promote that family, friendship, and lasting relationships. Despite our restrictions with COVID-19, we will still be able to enjoy one another. We have already made it this far, and there is so much excitement we have yet to uncover. I know we may seem to have a similar message as everyone else, but I stand above the pack, literally. Remember to always live out the Weedy way. Vote Nick and Grace today.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Cleveland, and I'm also just so grateful for this opportunity to run as freshman class co-president with Nick. And I want to run because this is about you. It's about making this year the best it can be for you. Just a little background on myself. I'm from San Diego, California, and I love to do anything outdoors, including backpacking, surfing, and skiing. I participated in multiple school sports throughout high school, and I'm also a competitive figure skater with practices throughout high school starting at 4:10 a.m. This is the dedication I'll bring to you. I love to be involved with what is happening around campus. I believe a good balance of ideas is essential. I want to provide an environment where you feel comfortable to be part of things and to express your views. I have talked with some upperclassmen about what they enjoyed about their freshman year. They mentioned events like Air Jam, worship nights or communion, and Beamer Bash. With our current situation, we'll need to be creative and modify events, whether they happen in smaller groups or outside. I believe your involvement is essential, not just for fun events, but also for the challenges and opportunities we all face. I know together we can make this year amazing. It will be one of inclusiveness, growth, gratitude, awareness, and fun. And remember, the Weedy way, vote for Nick and Grace today.
Thank you, Nicholas and Grace. Our next ticket will be Katie and Jasmine. Could you please give your opening statements?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Malloy. And I'm Jasmine Erickson. Just a little background information about me. I was prevented from being a part of student government in high school because of my faith, but I did find other ways to demonstrate leadership through running a club and being in charge of its events and finances, and by serving as the concertmaster and orchestra president of both my school orchestra and my city's youth symphony. Over the summer, however, I've realized that at Wheaton, I might actually have the opportunity to be a part of the student government like I had always wanted. I love the community here, and over the past few weeks, I've come to think of Wheaton as my home, and I want the same for all of you. Jasmine and I have come up with some great ideas that will help foster community and a sense of belonging, but the biggest mistake we could make would be neglecting the wealth of ideas and capabilities you all possess. We are both highly committed to the success of our class and to being people you can rely on as your representatives and your friends.
As for me, I was always interested in student government during high school, but circumstances just didn't allow for it. However, like Katie, I did find other leadership opportunities, such as being the vice president of my high school's orchestra and being on the board for my Model UN club at high school. When Katie asked if I wanted to be her running mate, I really felt that God was telling me to try and to do my best to make this the best year for all of us freshmen. Wheaton has done so much for Katie and I already, and we would love to give back and serve the freshman class together.
And we have 3 main ways in which we'd like to accomplish this. But these are subject to change because, as we said, it's your voices that matter. The first is through healing.
For example, we want to help facilitate healing in regards to mental health and the issues of racial injustice.
The second way we want to serve our class is by unifying us under an identity specific to the class of 2024. We're already connected through the shared experience of losing part of our senior year, but Jasmine and I want to make sure that we bring our class together through something other than a shared negative experience. We have ideas of events we can host for you, but obviously we want your input as well.
And our final platform is grit. As our presidents, it would be important that we ourselves display these traits and that we encourage you to do the same. So starting college is difficult whether you're in person or learning virtually, but we want you to know that your grit, your perseverance is inspiring us. This can also be a reminder of our dependence on God for this strength. It doesn't come from ourselves, but we know we can persevere through anything because of Him.
Thank you all so much for listening. Again, I'm Katie Malloy.
And I'm Jasmine Erickson.
And we hope to have the honor of serving as your freshman co-class presidents for this school year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasmine and Katie. Our next up is going to be Daniel and Grace. Would you like to give your opening statements?
Hello, I'm Grace.
And I'm Daniel.
And I have the honor of running alongside Daniel. He's very, very, very kind and intelligent and very detail oriented. And it's really an honor to be running with him.
Gracie is super empathetic and she really cares about what other people think. I know if you ever have anything that's going wrong in your life, that she will be happy to just sit down with you and listen to what you have to say. I know that for a fact, she will always listen to me if I need something.
Unfortunately, I have never attended the same school 2 years in a row. So this is my first time really attending a school more than 1 year. So I'm very excited to be able to plug into the Wheaton community. I was inspired to run because of the Kingdom diversity. There's just something very close to my heart. And I'm just really honored just to be in the running, and I'm having a really good time.
Yeah. So Gracie is from Hawaii. She loves to farm bunnies, which is what she does on her homestead. She's a communications major, and she also has amazing hair. And we also are super passionate about, we want to establish a community in the freshman class because we realize that we're in a really unique year, but we don't want to look at that as a setback. We want to see that as something that we can use as a springboard to jump off of and really create a stronger and more cohesive freshman community through things like worship nights and student activities where we can all bond together.
Yeah. And we understand that this is a very unique time, not only because of the coronavirus, but also because of all the racial tension in the world right now. And I really think it's important to show a diverse interracial team, just so everyone feels represented and that everyone has a voice.
So we really hope that you would consider voting for Gracie and Daniel this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Grace and Daniel. Our final ticket for the evening is going to be Liliana and Isabela.
Hi everyone, my name is Liliana Boschman. I'm a small town girl from Rhode Island, and I'm so excited to be running alongside Isabela Valdez. So in high school, I was extremely involved. I was awarded by the state with the Rhode Island Civic Leadership Award. I was the founder of Christian Community Club, and I was the co-captain of Mock Trial. But the reason I want to run is because of a club called Mal UN. Mal UN is a club where you model the United Nations. You're given a country and a topic, and you go to conferences where you represent your country in its stance. This has given me practice for student government, as I'm used to being a successful representative and putting my own views aside, meaning I'd be able to keep the class's best interests in mind.
Hi everyone, I'm Isabela Valdez. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I was also very involved in high school. I was the president of Harvard Model Congress, the co-captain of the varsity swim team, as well as the president of Diversity Council. And it was actually because of my experience in Diversity Council that I was inspired to run for co-class president. Because in Diversity Council, I learned how to create ways to spread awareness throughout my school and also how to establish a safe and comfortable environment.
So we're actually roommates, and living together has taught us how to respect each other and each other's boundaries, and thus we have a bond that goes past the surface level.
We see each other daily, and we know our schedules pretty well, so it'd be easy for us to work on things for the class pretty much 24/7.
Isa is one of the most determined people you will ever meet. Once she puts her mind to something, you best believe she is going to accomplish it. I have been so blessed to see Isa for the determined person that she is, and that's why I knew she'd be the best running mate.
And on my side, Lily is one of the hardest workers I've ever met, and it's because her drive to put her heart and soul into everything she does that I know I didn't only pick the best running mate I could have, but also that together we can accomplish anything we put our minds to.
So we don't want COVID to be the only thing that made this year memorable. So this goes into our 5 platforms. So fun, diversity, chapel, connecting, and friendship.
A few examples of how we would implement these focuses are
creating fun events such as worship nights and trivia nights,
diversity events such as a diversity roundtable and a multicultural film festival,
Opportunities for remote students to connect with in-person students by continuing the Pen Pal program or perhaps starting FaceTime buddies.
Optional chapel viewing centers that would be on each residence hall floor.
Creating friendships between Fisher and Smith dorms through programs such as Step Bro and Step Sis groups, along with events to get to know people in the opposite resident buildings.
If you have any questions, please feel free to check out our website, lilybesav.com, where you can learn more about us and we go into more depth about our platform.
Overall, we hope to build a relationship with you so that you know your class representatives are accessible and approachable.
We ask that you vote for Lily B and Isa V for your co-P.
We would be honored to be your class presidents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isabela and Liliana. We're going to transition into Q&A in a moment, but I wanted to take the chance to just reiterate what it is that these freshman class co-president candidates are running for. Of course, they are here to represent your class, the class of 2024, in student government to the school administration. And student government, essentially, we're here to listen to the voices of the student body, to dialogue with people, to serve and represent and educate. We voice your concerns to school administration at all sorts of levels of the layout of the school, and whether it is, you know, a concern that there is some kind of problem on campus, or a desire to see more opportunities, or just something you want to express, student government is here to channel your voices, and that is what these freshman class co-presidents are here to run for. They want to represent you, the class of 2024. And I hope that all of you take the time to check out each of their campaign platforms, their social media handles, and to just maybe talk to them, get to know them, ask them questions. In fact, send questions to us on Slido. This is a quick plug, actually. But as I've been posting, here, let me just share my screen, actually. If you have questions, please submit them to slido.com with the code 74624. And I just wanted to read to you SG's vision statement for this year. Student government commits to representing, empowering, and serving students of all backgrounds through active listening, direct dialogue, and enduring advocacy. I hope that you all keep that in mind as you just do your homework and get to know these different candidates and vote tomorrow. At the end of tonight's session, we're also going to go over the way that each of you are going to receive an online ranked choice ballot. And we'll go over the details about that at the end of tonight. Again, please submit your questions to slido.com and upvote the ones that you really want to see answered. So now I'm going to pass off the mic to Laurel, who's going to just take turns asking questions to each of the candidates.
Hi, everybody. Yes, my name is Laurel Cruz, and I'm excited to ask you guys some questions. So our first question is going to be going to Peter, Logan, and Katia, and then also Amber and Jacob. But we'll first be asking Peter and Katia. Our first question for you is, what is one thing you admire about the other candidates?
One thing I absolutely admire is the fact, for example, Lily and Isa, you made your own website. That was absolutely amazing. So I checked that out. That was really cool. I liked how you put your platforms and your vision on there.
Awesome. And then Amber and Jacob, what is one thing you admire about the other candidates?
We so admired Sam and Constance for what they said about admiring our teachers. They definitely don't get enough credit because they did even more work than we did to get us here and get us on campus. So yeah, doing whatever we can for the teachers.
Thank you, guys. Our next question is going to go to Constance and Sam and Grace and Nicholas. And that question is, what should community during these COVID times look like? And so that our first people answering will be Constance and Sam.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that we've talked about is, what does community really look like? during this time. So while we have such beautiful weather, we'd love to take advantage of the outdoor spaces. We also have such beautiful buildings here too. So utilizing spaces in my side and maybe set up card game tables and things like that, just to have certain events that we can bring everyone together.
I think bringing the community together, we can all be together in small groups while socially distanced, and you can always interact with different people through the internet, on your phones. That's what everyone does nowadays. And then, like they said before, the weather's still pretty nice and warm out, so there's a lot of the fire pits around campus are a great way to just interact with people and get to know people a little better than you had before.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. My next question is for Katie and Jasmine and Daniel and Grace. And that question is, how are you planning on implementing a culturally / diverse or aware agenda? So if Katie and Jasmine, you guys want to answer that first, that'd be awesome.
Sure. So while we were brainstorming ideas, we came up with an idea that, well, first of all, our class council that we select, we'd like it to be as diverse as possible so that we could have opinions coming from all different backgrounds as we create our agenda. And we also thought that we could create another committee made up of Wheaton freshmen from all different backgrounds so that our agenda would reflect the needs of the diverse community we have here at Wheaton.
Thank you, Katie and Jasmine. Daniel and Grace.
Yes, that is something we very feel strongly about. We also would really like to include as much of a diverse team as possible, not only just different people from different races, but also our international students, giving them more of a voice as well. I think Wheaton is a very unique community of different perspectives and different cultures, and bringing that and allowing that to shine through would be very important.
Yeah. We were definitely hoping to be able to work with the Office of Multicultural Development to really be able to get a sense of what diversity on this campus should look like and how we can best implement it.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel and Grace. Our next question is for Liliana and Isabela and Peter and Katia. So we're going back up. The question I have for you guys is, what are your goals for the freshman class this year? And we'll have Liliana and Isabela ask that one first.
So our goals kind of go in line with our platforms, which is fun, chapel, diversity, and among others. So really what we want to focus on is just bringing the whole freshman class together, remote and in person, and kind of uniting us through whether it be trivia nights online or some worship nights in person, just so we can build that Wheaton community that we have somewhat lost because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we really want to focus on bringing together that community and bringing together the whole Wheaton class.
Awesome. And then we'll move back up to Peter and Katia.
Yeah, as one of our biggest goals is unity, especially with the remote and in-person students. Katia is a remote student, as many of you know, and we'd like to integrate remote and in-person students as a community together. We also would love to do worships and diverse worship, like worship in more than one language, to bring the diversity in our campus together as worship for our Creator, all as one voice.
Thank you. Our next question is going to be for Amber and Jacob, as well as Constance and Sam. And that question is, what is something you've learned about yourself since coming to Wheaton?
Something that I've learned about myself, especially in this time, is to trust God with my situation, whether that's with my friendships or my classes, or just the difficult situation in general, really leaning into Him and using His strength and not my own.
Awesome. Constance and Sam.
So the biggest thing I've realized about myself in this past month is how much a good Christian community really means. Like having a really nice group of people that'll not only push you towards Christ, but also keep you accountable when you slip up is super important. And I think that's been really great here at Wheaton.
Thank you. Our next questions are for Grace and Nicholas and Katie and Jasmine. And that question is, how do you plan to engage with differences of opinion in the class of 2024? So we'll start with Grace and Nicholas.
So our whole thing is about hearing everybody's perspectives. So we want to make sure that everybody's voice is heard, and we want to do that by approaching it in a very fair way and making sure that everybody does have their opinion, because we want to be serving you. We want to be the voice for the class, and so we want to make sure that everybody's included.
Thank you. Katie and Jasmine.
So one of our second platform is unity, and we know that all brothers and sisters are bonded through Christ. So Christ above all takes over all opinions, or is more important than all of our opinions. That being said, we can learn to respectfully disagree, especially in light of this political climate, the 2020 election coming up, the unfortunate death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which has multiple implications. But I truly believe that the freshman class will be able to overcome these differences and still be a well-Christian community.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. My next question is for Daniel and Grace and Liliana and Isabela. So the question for you guys is, if there's one thing you guys would like to be remembered for, what would it be? And we'll start with Daniel and Grace.
Definitely something that we would just love to be remembered for is that with the things that we were given this year with COVID-19 and racial tensions, that we promoted kingdom diversity at Wheaton and created a more unified student body, despite all of the political tensions and racial tensions that exist right now. So that'd be something that if we could be remembered by, I would just love to be remembered as a unifying force for the freshman class.
Awesome. Liliana and Isabela?
I think that we would love to be remembered, not through us, but just the class and the class's memories that they have from this. We want the class to come back and think freshman year was a blast, and we don't necessarily have to be on the front lines of that. We just want to be behind the stage, the scenes, and like making that happen for everyone. But yeah, just not remembering us, but just remembering the amazing time that they had freshman year if we became co-president. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Our next question is going to be for Peter and Katia and Amber and Jacob. And that question is, how can Wheaton's COVID-safe Thunderstrong guidelines be communicated in an effective manner? And we'll start with Peter and Katia.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe that the COVID-safe regulations can be effectively communicated through on-campus signs, posters. I don't know if the email would be as effective. I believe the maybe social media posters as well. Things that people are checking every day.
Thank you. Amber and Jacob.
I think it would be so great for us to look at our commitment to being COVID safe as an opportunity to really lead our community. People look to Wheaton because they know it's a prestigious institute and full of caring individuals. So seeing us being COVID safe, we can just look at that as a great opportunity for leadership.
Amazing. My next question is for Constance and Sam and Grace and Nicholas. And that question is, if you could change one thing about Wheaton, what would that be? We'll start with Constance and Sam.
One thing that we had talked about changing about Wheaton is we'd love for there to be an ability to have more open discussions. We know that unfortunately the discussion board was not available to be used this year, but through other platforms, we'd love to give the students a voice to be able to express their concerns about what they're feeling about Wheaton.
Thank you. Grace and Nicholas?
If we had to change something, it would probably be just the fact that it is a smaller college. It's more likely that there's just more cliques, and we want to make sure that everything is inclusive and everyone feels included in discussions and gets to voice their opinion.
Awesome. Our next question is going to be for Katie and Jasmine and Daniel and Grace. And that question is, What past experience do you have that would prepare you well for this role? We'll start with Katie and Jasmine.
So similar to Lily, I also did Model UN in high school. It was a lot of fun. I was on the board, so not only was I doing the actual acting part in the conferences, but also the leadership part and conveying the desires of the new kids and just the returning students to the board and trying to develop a good plan that will help all of us grow in developmental and personal skills.
Awesome, thank you. And then Daniel and Grace.
Yes, I had the pleasure of being able to start spearheading a school in Cameroon, Africa. So I was able to help organize different pastors there and teachers and just get a really amazing school set up.
Yeah, so I was actually the class president of my class in high school. And so that was a really great leadership experience that I got to take with me. And then in addition to that, I was also the captain of my cross country team. So I've had multiple leadership roles, which I think have been really great in preparing me for the position that we're being put in today.
Awesome, thank you. Our next question is just going to be for Liliana and Isabela, and that question is, what is an idea that you have for a COVID-safe Thunderstrong freshman class event?
So one of the ideas that we have is called the Step Bro Step Sis Floors. And so our idea is to connect the Smith-Traber Hall with the Fisher Hall residents, because we feel that because of all the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions, there's kind of a divide between the two residence hall dorms. So we feel by this program, assigning a floor in the opposite dorm, it would kind of not only give you the opportunity to meet other people in the other dorm, but also form new relationships and bonds with those people. Thank you.
Awesome. And then our final question is for everyone on the board, and we'll start with Peter and Katia, Amber and Jacob, Constance and Sam, and we'll go to Grace and Nicholas, Katie and Jasmine, Daniel and Grace, and then we'll end with Liliana and Isabela. And the question for you is just, what is your major and or what is your favorite class you're in right now?
My major is a math major, and I plan to do the master's program for TESOL, which is teaching English as a second language. And my favorite class is Calc 2. And Katia?
Hi, everyone. My favorite class at the moment is probably BITH 213, which is New Testament Literature and Interpretation. And I'm really excited to either major in applied health science or biology, and then also minor in Spanish.
Amber and Jacob.
So I'm undecided at the minute, but my favorite class so far has been anthropology. I love how it encapsulates all aspects of the humanities classes here.
And my favorite class is my core class. It's called How to Love the Other, the Outcast in Society. And I think Jesus models that really well for us, and we can all take from his example.
Constance and Sam.
Thank you, Lauren. I'm a education and English major right now. That's subject to change. My favorite class is school and society.
And I'm a biology major. And my favorite class probably has to be my core class right now. It's called Neuroscience and Faith. And it's just really cool to see how Jesus moves through our lives.
Awesome. Grace and Nick.
My major is a double major of economics and Spanish. And my favorite class right now is my Principles of Microeconomics class, because just Professor Cook is a really cool guy and I can really relate to what he's teaching.
I'm planning on majoring in communications, and my favorite class is English writing.
Katie and Jasmine.
I'm majoring in music performance with a minor in political science. And right now, my favorite class is my core class. I'm taking Can Politics Be Civil?
And I'm majoring political science. One of my favorite classes is the Old Testament literature and interpretation, because I think it shines a really important part on the Bible that Christians often ignore.
Daniel and Grace?
Yes, I'm a communications major, And right now my favorite class is my Hebrew class, and I'm just very excited to read the Bible in Hebrew and to understand the context with the original text.
My name's Daniel. I'm an English education major. And so my favorite class is School and Society with Dr. Jonas, just because it does an excellent job unpacking all these big, grand ideas of philosophers and making them accessible, and does a really good job in explaining how they relate to education.
Lily and Isa.
So I'm Liliana, and I want to double major in business economics and communications. Currently, my favorite class is my Intro to Oral Communication class, just because I enjoy public speaking.
And my name is Isabela. I'm a political science major, and my favorite class right now is my civil rights in the United States history class. It's just really interesting to learn how the people of the past have helped shape our future and have helped all the people and minorities in today's society.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then I actually have one more question for all of you. It's been quite popular on the Slido. We've had many people asking for this question, and that question for the entire board, and we'll start with Amber and Jacob, and then we'll end with Peter and Katia. And that question is, what is your approach to the turkey sausage situation? Let's start with Amber and Jacob.
While our opinion of the turkey sausage does side with the majority, we are grateful in general that we do have sausage at all.
Constance and Sam.
We have no opinion.
Well, the sausage is really, really good in syrup. Highly recommend. If you're not a fan of the sausage, dunk it in a bunch of syrup. It tastes so much better.
Grace and Nicholas.
I think you got to mix the sausage with either some eggs or some potatoes just to kind of flush out the taste. It makes it taste better so you don't really notice the taste of it. But other than that, it's fine.
Katie and Jasmine.
So I think our opinion also sides with the majority, but I think like Constance, if you just use a bunch of maple syrup, it covers up the taste. You'll be good.
I'm happy to be getting any kind of food, honestly, so yeah.
Daniel and Grace.
Turkey sausage is absolutely in every way inferior to regular sausage. When you take a bite of regular sausage, you just feel like the chef in Ratatouille. You feel like ego being transported back to your childhood, eating this beautiful, just maple tasting sausage.
Mm-hmm.
And when you eat turkey sausage, it's just depressing. You get nothing that you want out of sausage from turkey sausage.
But if you take a bite of it with everything, it's okay.
Okay at best.
Liliana and Isabela.
We do not really know our stance yet. I think we need to try both next to each other to really discover, but we would like to meet with the rest of the freshmen to solve this really big dilemma.
Peter and Katia.
I'm kind of in the same opinion of it's sausage, and I'm grateful to have sausage, and I don't really necessarily have a strong opinion on the turkey sausage. It's not the best, but it's food. It's good food.
Thank you all so much for your answers. We all really appreciate it, and we're excited to see what the Lord has in store.
Yeah, thank you again to each of the candidates. We're really thrilled to hear all of the different answers that you all were able to come up with, and just your wonderful opening statements. The board is really impressed with the work you've put in thus far. And to the freshman class of 2024, get out and vote tomorrow. Well, actually don't get out. Vote on your laptops and computers tomorrow in a COVID-safe, thunderstrong manner. Your candidates here have really put in a tremendous amount of work, and you know they will really appreciate every last vote that you're able to get there. And yeah, I mean, taking part in that democratic process is how we're going to raise our voices to administration so that they can know and just be aware of what our needs are, how we view things, and to just make this year really a great experience. So briefly, let me just project something. So tomorrow in your emails, you're going to receive like an individualized link. So each email is going to have a link to the online ballot, and that link can only be used once. So do not forward that email to anyone else. Everyone should get their own link. And the voting is ranked choice. You should have received an email that kind of explains what the ranked choice voting system is. If not, then go ahead and check your emails. And there's a fun little interesting video that a previous student government board recorded explaining how ranked choice voting works. And we really encourage you to check that out. And again, vote, vote, vote. And last but not least, the recordings of the speeches and Q&A today will be posted on YouTube as soon as we're able to finish downloading and uploading them. So thank you to everyone who's come out today. We're gonna end in prayer over each of these participants, and we hope to see you around. Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we give you so much thanks for all of these 7 tickets and for just the tremendous work that they've put in to engage their class, to get their voices out there, and to just have a blast. We are so grateful for the freshman class of 2024, and we just ask for your almighty hand over each and every one of their lives as they step into this very strange and new year in an unfamiliar environment. God, help them acclimate to this college atmosphere, help them do well in their classes, help them make this transition well. And for those who are struggling, Lord, show them your grace and mercy, give them your support and comfort, give them your heavenly peace. Lord, I pray over each of these candidates that you would confirm for them the works of their hands, that you would show them your light and your path. And for the ones who do not get elected, Lord, we ask that you provide them many more opportunities to get involved, and that you allow them to reflect on this experience as a positive, fun memory. And for whichever ticket does get elected, Lord, we pray for wisdom, strength, and all the fruits of the Holy Spirit, that they would be manifested in their lives as they serve and represent and educate their class. God, you are good, and we give you thanks for everything. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right. Thank you to everyone tuning in from YouTube. This will be the close of our stream. Candidates, if you could stay on for just a couple minutes longer.